If you're ever wondering what a letdown spot looks like, well, Game 46 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season would be just that. Coming off of probably their biggest win in the last couple of years, let alone this season, against the Colorado Avalanche last night in Colorado with a thrilling 4-3 overtime victory coming off of a William Nylander goal. This would be it. You're heading into Utah on the second night of a back-to-back. You're traveling out there on a little bit of a later time zone, 10 p.m. puck drop, back-to-back nights, first in Colorado, now in Utah against the Mammoth. So you're adjusting your body clock, you're on the road, you've just come off of a tough one against the Avs, and now you're going to head into Utah to take on Clayton Keller and the Mammoth, where they just keep whistling all game. I don't know why or how or what that's all about, but they whistle for the entire game. So it's going to be a weird experience in there regardless. And you're coming off of the most emotionally and probably physically draining of the entire season in altitude in Colorado. This is a letdown spot for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And yet, for some reason, this team just continues to give me hope or make me feel confident that they're going to find ways to show up. Maybe they won't win this one. Maybe they fall short. Maybe they don't come away with any points. Maybe they win in reg. Who the hell knows? But the point is that each time I've looked at the schedule here now, looked at the opponent, home, away, back-to-back, time off, backup goaltender, starting goaltender, guys injured, everybody healthy, it doesn't matter. It feels like you know what you're going to get from the Maple Leafs at bare minimum, and that's a solid effort from start to finish. It may not go their way, it may not be in their favor, but you're going to get these guys showing up. And now here you are over the last 10 games, 8-0-2. You've secured points in 10 straight games, and you've gotten points in 18 of your 20 possible points that you could have gotten since the day Marc Savard was fired. I don't know if this is a Marc Savard issue or if this is solely on the hands of Marc Savard, but what I will say is that the team has responded, and they found a way to show up every single night, compete their absolute nuts off, and find ways to inspire the city, inspire the fan base, and get people behind them like they've never been before. This is a team who on January 13th sits in the first wild card spot, and yet the way this fan base is talking about them in Toronto, and deservingly so, by the way, is as though they were a first-place team in the NHL or a first-place team in the Atlantic Division, I should say, sorry, because the way they're playing is something that this city and this fan base can get behind more than they ever could. This, right now, is the most inspiring hockey this team has played. This brand of hockey is something that you could look at and think, yeah, this could succeed in the playoffs. You're getting your top-end talent showing up. You're getting depth. Guys are sticking up for each other. Your defense is playing big and physical while also moving the puck in transition. Your special teams are rocking. Your goaltender is really good. If these things all keep up, if you've just battled through adversity and realized what it's like to bottom out the way you did at the start of this season and can turn this into a positive, who the hell knows where this season could go? Who knows? With that, let's get into what we've got for tonight's game against the Utah Mammoth. This is a presentation of Bet365 as always, and we're going to head on over to Daily Faceoff to take a look at the lineups, who's playing with who's in what spot for tonight's game. Just quick note before we do, no morning skate here today, no afternoon skate, whatever, I don't know how you want to put it, but I will just note, I'm operating under the assumption as of right now, which could change over the next few hours, that Nic Robertson will be playing in this game here tonight. He did leave last night's game against Colorado with an injury after he took a puck to the knee. Did not return, but he was spotted walking around in the tunnel or in the hallway after. He was spotted walking around fine with no brace, no crutches, nothing. So to me, that would indicate maybe they just were being precautious. Or being cautious and taking care of that situation, saying, hey, let's not risk anymore. Let's get on this right away. Let's get this thing iced. Let's get this thing healed up. Let's not risk any further injury. And maybe by the end of it, all of a sudden swelling has gone down. The spot that it hits starts to feel a little bit better. The nerves aren't hurting as much. And he's like, okay, I can start to walk around. I'm just guessing. If not, Calle Järnkrok obviously comes back in, but I'm operating under the assumption Nic Robertson does play based on the fact that we did see him walking around last night. For your lineup for tonight, going over to Daily Faceoff. First line stays together, Nyes, Matthews, and Domi. Your second line is Matias Maccelli, John Tavares, and William Nylander. You're down to your third line as of right now, Easton Cowan, Nick Watt, Nic Robertson. And then your fourth line, Steven Lorentz, Scott Laughton, Bobby McMann. I don't really have anything to say that I didn't say in yesterday's game preview about these lines because it was the same there. Also, what I said on Leafs Nation After Dark last night, and then we will recap everything, obviously, tonight in this edition of Leafs Nation After Dark following the game against the Utah Mammoth. The only thing I'm going to throw out there to people, I mean, there's no critiques or anything about the lineup or anything because I think that it's a good lineup. I think you're getting depth from these lines right now. I think everybody's contributing, so that's a positive. All I could say is keep it going. The only thing would be, in the event Nic Robertson does not play, my suggestion would be McMann, line 3, Järnkrok, line 4, in McMahon's spot. Don't touch the top 6. Make minimal moves to the bottom 6. Järnkrok did also just play with the bottom, with the fourth line over the last little while. So just throw him back in there. A little bit of a comfortable spot with guys he's been playing with. That's the only thing that I would do. In terms of your defense, which you can scroll down on the Daily Faceoff website and take a look at, Morgan Rielly and Brandon Carlo, your first pair here again. Jake McCabe, OEL, second pair. Simone Benoit and Troy Stetcher as your third pair. And then your power play units remain the same here as well. Nyes, Nylander, Maccelli, Matthews, and Morgan Rielly as your first unit. Second unit, Easton Cowan, John Tavares, Bobby McMann, Max Domi, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. I know that this is a little bit of a boring or a quick recap here or game preview today. If I had news, if I had information, if I had lineup updates, I would give them to you and we would cover all of that in this game preview here today. We just don't have that. So there's not much to talk about. And when you come off of a win like you did last night against Colorado, where basically everybody played out of their fucking minds, it's hard for me to sit here and say, well, I want this to change or I want that to happen. Like, no, if you do what you did against Colorado last night, you're more than likely going to go into Utah tonight and absolutely whomp the Mammoth. And it's not because they're a bad team. It's just because that is a winning brand of hockey that you just played last night against Colorado. And if you play that way and Utah Mammoth end up beating you, all we can do on the postgame show tonight is hat tip to the Mammoth and say, what a fucking game. You deserve that win. Thanks for having us. We'll see you back on Thursday again when the Leafs play against Vegas and we keep it moving. Because if you can keep that up and you can play that way into this game, into Thursday's game, all the way leading up to the Olympic break, you're going to be beyond the wild card spot. And I don't mean like actually physically sitting beyond wild card 1 because that's dependent a little bit how the teams ahead of you do, but I more so mean you're just going to be in a more comfortable spot. You're 1 point up on 3 other teams. You're 2 points up on a few other teams below that. So it's not like it's a very comfortable spot because you lose tonight and a couple other teams win. Next thing you know, you're back out of the playoffs. You want to keep picking up points. But if you play that way and you keep picking up points and you keep winning games and you keep going in there and just steamrolling teams in terms of this is how we're going to play. We don't care how you're going to play. We're going to come in here. We're going to play our style of hockey. If you can do that, you're going to separate yourself from the rest of the pack. While you might be chasing Montreal and Tampa and Detroit, and you need them to falter a little bit for you to get up into the top of the Atlantic Division, if you can keep that style of play and keep adding points, you can at least create separation where it's like, yeah, you're wild card 1, but maybe you gain some ground and surpass a team that's in the Metro Division. So then it's like, okay, a little bit more comfortable there where if that team below you starts to catch up, they're actually catching up to a Metro Division team more so than they are to you, and you can be in a little bit more of a comfortable spot in the NHL standings and in the playoff picture as of right now. So those are my only thoughts. In terms of goaltending for tonight, you're going to get Dennis Hildeby For the Maple Leafs, which obviously just makes sense, Joseph Woll did play last night. I thought he played a great game for the Maple Leafs. You know, he lets in 3, but over a 900 save percentage, made some awesome stops in timely situations, just some big saves in big moments. It was a great game from Joseph Woll. So to go back to Dennis Hildeby here tonight, I think is a fair decision. I think the right decision. And I think Dennis Hildeby is more than ready for the challenge. So looking forward to seeing him in net as he will take on Karel Vejmelka on the other side for the Utah Mammoth. Let's now get to our best bet segment. Our best bet is a presentation of Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary. At Bet365, use code NATION. That's NATION, code NATION. NATION, must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit connectsontario.ca. Okay, best bet. We are finally up in the positive. It's kind of funny how this works. Like, the Leafs go on the slide of all slides. They go out of the playoff spot. They're last in the Atlantic. They're last in the Eastern Conference. They're one of the worst teams in the NHL. And our best bets are in the dumpster. We were down 7.9 units at one point here on the season, and not that long ago. Now the Leafs are in the first wildcard spot, and for the first time this year, actually, I guess earlier on this season, we were in the positive, so I shouldn't say that. But, we basically followed the pattern of the Leafs. In a playoff spot, we're in the positive. Out of the playoffs, we are in the negatives. So for the first time in a while, and the first time in 2026, we are in the positive. Last night, the Leafs get to a playoff spot. Last night, the game previews get to a positive in terms of our financials on the season, up 0.25 units, which would be $25 on our $100 units. We've got 2 best bets for tonight's game. So let's get over to it over on Bet365. But before we get into the bets, taking a look side and total in this game for the Leafs Mammoth. Leafs underdogs plus 125, the Mammoth minus 150, a total of 6. Minus 115 to the over, minus 105 to the under. Again, I think the only way that I could look at this one would be Leafs money line, plus money here tonight against the Mammoth. That's probably the direction that I would be leaning. It's not a best bet. It's not going to get the official rubber stamp here of like, we're going in on this one. This is the bet we're placing. But that's the way I would lean. I know that they're coming off a back-to-back, but I just think the way this team has been playing has earned themselves a little bit more respect, even though you're on the road, even though it is the second night. Now, change in altitude, maybe a potential injury to Robertson and the emotional and physical damage that you've taken or toll that's taken in that game against the Avs might get you. But like this, I feel like the Leafs could go in here and get a win against Utah tonight. Again, lean that way, not a best bet. Our 2 best bets. So let's start with this one. Auston Matthews anytime goal plus 135 is our first best bet of the night. We're going to go a half unit on this one, $50 at plus 135 for Auston Matthews. He is rocking right now. We talked over and over again about how Matthews and Nylander, when they get hot, it can be streaky and it can come in, like when it rains, it pours kind of a situation for their goal scoring. And it feels like we're getting that for Auston Matthews right now. 8 goals in his last 10 games since Marc Savard was fired and relieved of his duties here in Toronto. I see no reason why Matthews couldn't show up tonight in this one against his buddy Clayton Keller in these situations where it seems like right now he's looking on the other side and being like, star player, I'll go toe-to-toe. One of my friends, I'll go toe-to-toe. And he steps up and finds the back of the net. So Auston Matthews, half unit, plus 135 is my first best bet in this one. Profits you $67.50. Our second best bet of the night, you are going to have to go a little bit further down in the goal scorers tab, but I think people will understand why. You click the show more tab, you're going to scroll down till you find plus 450 Matias Maccelli. $25 on Matias Maccelli, a quarter of a unit. $25, quarter of a unit, will profit you $112.50 at plus 450 here on Bet365. Simply put, Matias Maccelli's been playing unbelievable. This is a revenge spot for him against his former team in Utah for the first time this season. He did score in the first outing against the Mammoth, but I see no reason why he couldn't find a way to do that here yet again tonight. He's been unreal as of late. So credit to Matias Maccelli for figuring out his game, figuring out his role in this lineup, and for Craig Berube, quite honestly, for deploying him, whether it was a mandate from Brad Treliving or whatever, but it seems like Matias Maccelli is finding his stride, and I don't see a reason why he couldn't score tonight. So that is your second best bet. Recap: Auston Matthews half unit, $50 at plus 135, profit $67.50. Matias Maccelli anytime goal at plus 450, a quarter of a unit, $25 with profit $112.50 on that. Those are your best bets. That is your game preview. Thanks to everybody who watched. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I will be back following tonight's game against the Utah Mammoth for another edition of Leafs Nation After Dark, breaking down everything that happened in this one. But before we get there, I want you guys in the chat, let me know your thoughts on tonight's game. Maybe it ties into last night's game. Maybe it's a look ahead to tonight against Utah. Your predictions for tonight, your score predictions. Is this sustainable? Do they do it again? What do you think about Dennis Hildeby? What's your best bet? I want to hear all of that and more. Hit that like button. Subscribe here to the channel. I will see you guys back here following tonight's game for another edition of Leafs Nation After Dark. Until then, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos, make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.